When my father was passing away, this was like 1986, I would go back to New York from California every 2 weeks for like 6 weeks or so, because he was dying of cancer and it wasn't good. And I was going back there trying to be the doctor, trying to figure out what to do and make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be. And Barbara says to me, Michael, if you're going to go back to visit your dad again, I don't want you to go back and be his doctor. I want you to go back and be his son. And I look at her and I say, what on heaven's earth are you talking about? And she says, I want you to be his son and to tell him what he means to you, how much you love him, and let him know. And just talk to him about that. And I said, I can't talk to my dad like that. He's a practical guy. He fixes big things, machines and bulldozers and whatever, and he's not a personal sharing kind of a person. I said, I can't do that. And so she coached me and says, yes, you can, and here's what you say, and here's what you do. And so I practiced this script. So I go back to be at my dad in New York, and you go into this hospital room, and nobody's talking. And the nurses don't want to go in the room because when they do, my mother's screaming at them. And my brothers say to me, don't you rile up your father. I say, oh. So my father was really angry. He didn't want to die. He was only 74. He absolutely was angry at everybody and everything. Every nurse who came in, every doctor, every person, anybody. He was just really angry. So with all this going on, this is definitely the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. I go in a room, I tell my dad, Dad, I want to tell you some things about, and he says, what do you want from me, Michael? What do you want from me? I said, I don't want anything. I just want you to listen. Don't say anything. I just need to tell you what a great dad you've been. He's been such a kind dad. He's always uplifted me. He's always helped me to be better than I was, and he never put me down, and he always wanted me to be as great as I can be, and he never felt bad if we were better than him, or he wanted us to be as great as we could be. And so I told him how much he meant to me and how thankful I am that he's my dad. And he put his hand on my hand, and his hand is a big, big hand. No one has hands as big as his. His fingers were twice as big as my fingers. And he put his hand on mine. It's the softest hand I have felt on my hand. And he looked at me, and we both cried. And then he looks around the room and says, why is everybody so sad? What's going on? Call them in. Tell them I want to talk to them. And he started talking to everybody and told everybody what they meant to him and how much he appreciated them. He called all of his family, all of his friends. The nurses couldn't believe who he was the last 2 weeks of his life. He was a different human being. And it was a privilege to be with him when he passed away. I was with him 2 weeks later when he passed away. And that process of being with him when he passed away just changed me. And I had always felt that God was a force, an impersonal force in the universe that supported everything, and some kind of like Luke, used the force. That's what I felt. But after my dad passed away, that became really personal. I go to pray and I start crying, not because I'm unhappy, but because I'm feeling loved, personally loved, intensely loved. Now, is it my dad who's doing that, or is it God doing that? I don't know, but it's just really intense. And my whole experience of being with people changed after that. I experienced intense love being with people, and still do. And it came from what Barbara pushed me into, which I would never have done on my own.